This right here is my papa's bread recipe from all those years back. He would make it religiously. My brother, my cousins all loved it, and now I'm gonna attempt to make it on my own. Here goes nothing. First, gonna take 2 packets of instant or rapid rise yeast. It's about 4.5 teaspoons for those that don't deal with yeast in those kind of numbers. Half a cup of water that's been warmed to about body temperature, 105 Fahrenheit, 110 Fahrenheit. Let that sit for 5 minutes, let it get nice and woken up. Note about the water, I take mine from a charcoal Brita filter here. I drink it anyway because the water at my Nana's house has a lot of sediments in it, a lot of minerals that don't do well with my urinary tract. In fact, my mom has gotten kidney stones from it, and I'm not trying to do that. Plus, I drink enough not as good for you liquids as it is, and I don't want the water around here to bite me in the butt when I'm actually good and do drink my water. Meanwhile, I've measured out 6 cups of bread flour. My papa always swore by King Arthur, so that's what I'm using here. And I've also got 3 tablespoons of melted butter. To that, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar and 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, then 1 3/4 cup of milk. I'm using 2% here. Don't go anything less fat than 2% with this one. We want a good amount of flavor in here. And it's spilling everywhere, of course. Just went ahead and dumped it in. The yeast was bubbly and it started to smell like beer. That's how you know that your yeast is ready. Now, this isn't part of the original recipe, but I like it, and it's coming in handy now because I couldn't get the rest of the sugar and salt off the bottom. I'm adding 1 beaten chicken egg and kind of make it brioche type of bread. Next step is to add 2 cups of this flour. Just kind of eyeball it a little bit. Beat for about 1 minute till just combined. I love these stand mixers. You see these in a bunch of American kitchens. They're just kind of like a staple of a bygone generation. Next step in the recipe is add another cup and beat for 150 strokes. Alright, I'd say that's about 150 strokes. Looks like a lot of the product of 150 strokes, but anyway, take the paddle off. There we go. And now replace it with your hook, matey. Bread hook. And now add just enough flour to make it into a dough. I'm gonna start with 1 cup and then we'll go from there. Just don't stir right now. It's gonna take a little bit for that hook to pull in that flour, but this is what we want right now. Oh, it's been a couple minutes now. We're definitely gonna need to add a little more flour, but that's okay. Side note, always start it on a low speed because as you can see, flour is definitely going everywhere right now. And if you started it any faster than, say, stir, you'd have a white Christmas in your kitchen for darn sure. It's starting to come off just a little bit. We just need just a little more flour in there. Look at that. That's what you want to see. It's pulled away from the sides of the bowl. It's sticky, but, you know, still comes off. Still want to grease your hands a little bit, but it is time to knead it. Even though Papa said to knead it on the counter for 10 minutes, I'm gonna go at medium speed for 10 minutes. It's quite violent. I'm gonna have to come back to y'all. Look at that. Look at how much that stand mixer is moved. That's why you want to be sure nothing is in the way. Centripetal force. It's a cruel mistress. Look at that. It's a haunted KitchenAid. It's a haunted mixer. It has a mind of its own. By the way, Nana, what did I do wrong with the potatoes?
You left the eyes in them.
Oh, yeah, I did. I've made some improvements by not putting so much salt in them. So the fact that I still left the eyes in them, I think that's a win in the grand scheme of things. It's making work for you, but hey, whatever, that's your problem. You're on the potato salad this year. Now, Papa had the luck of the Southern Charm when it came to baking. Me, I got fancy book learning. Here's how you tell if you have good gluten formation in your bread dough. Hold it up to some light. You see gluten strands like that, you are good to go. Oil it up a little bit. Toss the coat. Cover with a tea towel, let it sit for 20 minutes. Cover with a tea towel, let it sit for 20 minutes. That was funny. After 20 minutes, you're gonna uncover it, and look at that. It's doubled in size. All that yeast done its thing. Punch that down, redistribute all that gas, then put down some parchment or wax paper, flour up that sucker, and then you're gonna wanna turn out your dough onto that. Divide it into half using a cutter of some sort. You could measure it, but I'm too lazy to do that. Once you form it into a rectangular shape, you're gonna take yourself a rolling pin, flour it up, and then you're gonna roll it out into an 8 by 12 inch rectangle. Now, this is the most important part of this whole bread operation. This is what separates Papa's bread from all other breads I've ever had. Once you finally get it to that 8 by 12 or 9 by 16 rectangle, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start to fold it up on itself, jelly roll style. Take your time with it. Go slow with it. Better to get it right than to get it speedy. In fact, I slowed this part down visually just to demonstrate the type of speed you should be going at. Once you've finished up the roll job, you wanna pinch the sides, be sure it's nice and sealed up, put it in a greased up 8-inch loaf pan, seam side down of course, and then you're gonna wrap it up with both parchment paper and then plastic wrap, and then park it in the fridge overnight. Yeah, you could let it sit on the counter for 1 or 2 hours until it's risen, but overnight in the fridge definitely makes for a better flavor and texture. Trust me on this one. Here's what they look like after rising for overnight. They've doubled in size there. Now you let them sit on the counter for 10 minutes while you heat your oven to 325 degrees. In the oven, set your timer for 20 minutes. That's just when I start checking it. Usually it takes 30 to 40 minutes depending on your oven. Look at that. That's the final product. Gonna let it cool a little bit before we slice it. Totally forgot to describe the flavor and texture to y'all because that was at my Thanksgiving and family was there and couldn't have main character syndrome around the ones that I love, so it was amazing. The flavor had that nice earthy beer taste to it in the background, obviously, but it was soft, it was pillowy, the texture was even, and because of the egg in there, it made for perfect French toast for the next couple of days. So I hope I did Papa proud with this one. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Let me know what other recipes you'd like me to try. I'm loving this whole cooking journey here. This is a lot of fun. If you're on wherever you are, follow, share, subscribe, all those things, and see you next time.